If you watched my previous video, I kind of like kept you updated on what's going on with the build, with the cars. And right now, I want to mainly focus on kind of narrating these videos for now on. Go back to the vlog style. Then ITR hasn't seen a lot of progress in the past 6 months, to be honest with you. I did a lot of cleaning, prepping, restoring with the undercarriage, with the suspension subframe, arms. I spent most of the time rebuilding the rear end a little bit. So I bought like new hubs, new bearings, new studs, and I had put those together. But right now the main thing is what's holding me back really, I think, is the engine bay. It looks really rough. If you can see on the camera, it's like 5 million colors in here. I'll bring you guys in a little bit to see, to show you guys how rough it is. I took the hood off finally. My brother helped me take the hood off so we can actually sit in here and diagnose what needs to be done. If I need to shave any holes, if I want to just forget all that and just prep it down and just paint it. It doesn't need a lot, I don't think, to get it ready for a motor, but that's in another video. I think I'll talk about that later. But it's rough. I've never built a car before like this. Never put it together actually, because I see people they build cars where they buy it whole, they take it apart so they can, you know, categorize everything, paint it, clean it up, put it all back together, make it look like a really nice car. But me, it's a puzzle piece. It's like a 1,000-piece puzzle, and I only have like 800 pieces. So there are stuff that I need to buy, upgrade, modify, replace. I mean, I just don't know till the car's actually put together. Like, I don't even know if I need a new power steering rack. I don't know if I want to run power steering. It's a lot of pieces in these boxes right here, like seals. I got mechanical stuff down there. Just stuff everywhere. But at least I got the car flipped around. It was facing that way for the whole year. Now I have it facing this way, where I can do some body work, get all that stuff out of the garage, so it's not sitting here collecting dust towards that side and make my garage dirty. So I'll bring the camera in so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll start with the driver's side. I started grinding down a lot of these areas that I wanted to put body fill in, like the Bondo metal filler, because it looked like the previous owner, not the one I bought it from, I think like all the people that owned the car before me that tried to build it started tack welding and plugging up holes and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Do I drill them out, make them more OEM, or do I just, you know, leave it as is and just fill it up and just paint over it? So, you know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I just don't know where things go. I go to a lot of the Honda Acura meets down south and take a lot of pictures of the other people's ITRs and see what holes are needed and what's gonna go where. You know, there's like, I know the harness goes through here, connects to some of these holes. I just, now on top of my head, I haven't really done like massive research, but it's tough. It's tough to know what I'm gonna plug, when I'm gonna shave, or should I just sand it down, prep it, paint it, you know, and just, if there's extra holes. Like, I don't really know what to do. I probably, like, I have like all this extra stuff down here, but for the most part, like I said, brand new coils. I think I'm gonna go with TNs because they're pretty comfortable, even though the price of those went up a little bit. I don't know. I just want the car to be good, but these skunk 2s are shot. I'm not gonna waste my time with them at all, so they're gonna get tossed. Looking for bolts, you know, these are very expensive. You're trying to do like an aftermarket clean option, because right now everything doesn't match. So that's something I gotta put to account in terms of expense. I do have some used motor mounts. I can use those for the most part. The harness is another thing. The engine harness for this motor, I'm gonna run the Type R B18C5 with this car, just to keep it very original as possible. But I gotta see if I want to go with like a rye wire or like aftermarket harness. But I think once I get the motors clean, like, you know, when I send it out to get redone and it's here, I can start buying the harness, injectors, all that stuff, and get that power plant ready to go, and then worry about the wire loom and where things go after. I mean, as far as I know, there's just an engine harness for the headlights, and I don't think there's anything else on this side, to be honest. I think the fuse box and everything is on that side. I did have a harness in the car if you watched my previous videos, and I pulled it out. I haven't gone through it to really sit down and see what else I need from that. But for the most part, on this side, just the motor mount, headlight, the coilovers, and I think I have an OEM one in the car, but I might, if it doesn't, I mean, depending on if it's still good or not, I might not use it. And I've seen people upgrade to the S2000 one with the spacer. I might end up doing that just for, you know, because it's new. And like I said, depending on how this goes, I don't know what to do yet in terms of using OEM parts or not. Mainly all I've been really doing is shaving off all the seam sealer. I still got some pieces in here that I can try to wiggle away, but it's tough. It's very tough trying to do it in a cleanly manner because you can't breathe this stuff in when you're shaving all this stuff out. So I'm gonna start working on it a little bit today. Might reapply seam sealer before I prime the whole engine bay and paint it, just because it'll be like a cleaner look. I just don't know if I'm able to put a little thin bead and kind of like make it smooth. I don't know if people do that. So it's all new to me, learning how to do body work and such. I'm not gonna shave it, make it look super like a show car. Like, I don't care for all that like most people are. I just want to make it look presentable so I can throw the motor in. Probably gonna have a wire tuck harness like I mentioned, because you know, people want too much for an OEM harness when I can just pay a little bit more for brand new wires that's, you know, tucked away, easy to go. So that's pretty much here for this part. A little bit easier to figure out what I'm gonna do. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the passenger side, which is a little bit more difficult. So this side has a lot of things going on. You do have, I believe here is the AC that comes out of this one. Because, yeah, I believe the AC goes out of that one. This, I believe, is another, like an engine harness. This is another engine harness. Battery tray goes here. Fuse box goes, I believe here a little square one goes here, and another small one goes here, if I'm not mistaken. So that's probably the harness that I pulled out through here, was probably what goes to here, and the passenger headlight. So same thing here, seam sealer. I'm trying to take it all off. I mean, someone already started it, so I'm gonna finish it. That's one project in itself. I painted this with rust reformer just to kind of see how everything looks. Looks okay so far, but like I've still got to redo all the seam here. I didn't realize they went all the way up here. And I added some Bondo to some of these areas where they plugged it. This hole was drilled, I don't know why, because I know the ITR, this is, you know, plugged up, but they drilled an extra hole here for some odd reason, and it's annoying. So I'm gonna have to, I have a welder, I'm gonna learn to weld and patch that up from probably the back end will be cleaner, and then try to find a way to fill this with some metal Bondo and then just shave it as smooth as I can. Hopefully it's not too obscene. That's that. Same thing, coilovers, new bolts. I have the motor mount here. Intake does go through here, and the power or the ABS unit goes around here. Now, I think they started shaving all the holes for the ABS, so I'm gonna realign it and see. It might bolt to like maybe 1 or 2 spots here, but I don't think I'm gonna run it, which is it sucks, but I'm gonna make that decision when everything's put back together, because if I have to, I don't mind drilling a hole and then just nut and bolt it. But for a safe reason, it might be ideal for me to run it. I do have it though, but it will make it look a little uglier, but it is what it is. Again, I don't really care to make it look like a super show car. So the same thing, like I said, seam sealer. Once all that's all done, prime everything, even here on the firewall. Gonna leave all these holes. Might do a block off plate. I'm not gonna run AC because this car didn't come with any AC components at all. Not even the blower and stuff underneath the dash. So either spend the money for that, or just for the time being, just get a block off plate for here and a block off plate down there for the center part, and just call it a day until I source it all out. Just one less thing to worry about, look a little bit cleaner. And yeah, like I said, there's holes plugged here, which I assume is for the ABS. So just gonna work on smoothing this stuff out, try to get this car presentable. But that's the passenger side. Okay, so I don't know how well this is gonna turn up for the center of the firewall, but as you can see, subframe was redone. I posted on my Instagram. I didn't make no video. I sprayed this with Still It after I sanded it down and cleaned it. It's like a rubberized hard coating that you can buy. The spray paint is very expensive, but it does make it look brand new. Right now it's just a little dusty. I didn't refinish this yet because I don't even know if it works. So that's why I'm just trying to debate when I paint the engine bay, I'm gonna take them all back out, and then maybe I'll just refinish and clean it real quick before I put it all back in. We have the fuel line here that goes to the fuel filter, and we have the AGR vent. It goes to that big unit that sits right here. I don't know exactly where it sits. I know it's like here somewhere. Am I gonna run that? Probably not. Am I gonna cut it off? No. I just spent some time replacing the whole entire line all the way back with a brand new one, or like, you know, slightly used, because the last one that I took off, actually I think it was cut here and here, and I really wanted to run this, which now that I'm looking, they actually plugged that thing too. So here I am going backwards. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? It's a hard decision, you know, like a lot of little things that need to be addressed, and they, you know, they cut and welded this part and this part, like there were like little studs like that sticking out. That like a shitty weld right there, but I think these holes, that's where the throttle cable goes. So it's just like it's like I don't know, like I don't even know what goes here. I gotta look it up, and it looks like they plugged that one, but it's not so good. Either way, I'm gonna have to tack weld and just sand it all down before I paint this whole engine bay. It's a lot to digest, but that's just what's going through my head right now. It's like one thing after another is overwhelming, but I think the main thing now is just to sand everything down, clean it, seam seal it again, let it dry, primer the whole bay with some epoxy primer, and then I'm either gonna rattle can it with the same spray paint in the can, or I'm gonna buy myself a small little paint gun and use my 3-gallon waffle air compressor to paint. But I think the spray can is just, it's gonna be expensive, but it's kind of like a better idea in my opinion, you know, just because I can get in the crevices and whatnot. This bay is probably gonna take probably three cans, because I mean I'm just painting down here, maybe 4. I'll do 4 because the radius support does need some paint too. It was mangled up a little bit when I first bought it. That's why one of the videos you watch, I was hammering it. So yeah, that's the update on the car, for the engine bay. That's the main thing I'm gonna work on in the next couple months. It's really get in here and just sand all this shit down and get it really prepped up and clean. Want to make more content, really want you guys to enjoy these videos, but also kind of see what I'm going through mentally with the car. Some of you guys probably built 1 or 2 cars already in your lifetime and probably thinking like this is nothing to it, but it's hard for you to say that to someone that has no experience in this at all. Like I said, it's easier to take a full car apart and put it back together than start from a shell and then trying to piece everything back together when you don't know what goes where, what was done. That's what's really daunting about this project car. It is what it is. It's coming together very nicely though, I think. I gotta make effort to go and do a little bit of progress every day. At least if I work on the car at least once a week, then I know I'll feel better about myself getting it done. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out. And if you guys watched the video of me painting the back of the bumper area, the whole rear bumper support, that thing was nice, and I had that on my Instagram. So you could also follow me there too and see all the content I have, or Kantstandlam Garage, the Instagram page. But for now, enough ranting, enough talking. Probably gonna sit here and just scuff some of this stuff down and see how much I get done.